We certainly don't take credit for developing or for instituting this particular type of investment strategy, but it is a no money, no credit strategy that allows you, as part of our team, to secure premium residential retail real estate. Hey everyone, Michael Matthew here with Pink TV, Little Pink Houses of America. We're excited to share more content with you here on our YouTube channel. We're going to drop some links below. If you haven't been or become accustomed with some of the previous videos, we're always going to have testimonials on here. This FAQ segment, though, is really important for us. So when people come on board, there's really a handful of questions that I typically get asked. My primary role within the organization, and I am one of the owners, is bringing folks in, answering their questions, seeing if they're a good fit for us, if we're a good fit for them, ultimately trying to open up new markets across the country. One that we get commonly is, what is a lease purchase, right? What is an executive lease purchase, to be more precise? So, guys, there's a handful of different types of investment strategies out there. There's wholesaling, there are lease options, there are buy and hold, there are fix and flip. An executive lease purchase, and we did not invent the lease purchase. It really became prevalent back in the 80s. It started with farming and land contracts and things of that nature. So we certainly don't take credit for developing or for instituting this particular type of investment strategy, but it is a no money, no credit strategy that allows you, as part of our team, to secure premium residential retail real estate. And when we say premium, we're talking about high-end real estate. Every market's going to be a little bit different. We're going to dive into this in a subsequent video. But what we do is we take a look at average or median house prices in cities that we exist in right now. We're based out of Jacksonville, Florida, which is where I'm at right now. I'm in the studio we call the Dog. And the Dog, I have to emphasize, that is D-A-double-G. So this is the Dog Studio. I'm going to bring in a lot of content to y'all from here. But an executive lease purchase is control without ownership. We are approaching typically for sale by owner sellers, expired listings, with an opportunity to sell their home through our lease purchase program, basically on terms. So typically 12 months or less. We secure that asset with, depending on the state, it's called an agreement for deed, a bond for deed, a land contract. There's multiple terms. Ultimately, that instrument is the same, and it achieves the same objective, which gives you and gives PINK equitable interest in the title of the home. So you do not have to be owner on title. You certainly do not have to be a licensed agent or broker in order to do these deals with us. But we secure the asset. We then market these houses to a typical demographic for us is really self-employed. That's probably 70-80% of our buyer pool right now. These are people that can afford a mortgage. They certainly have a down payment. They make plenty of money. A lot of them are entrepreneurs. So if you're an entrepreneur, you want to do two things. You want to make as much money as you can, and you want to keep as much away from Uncle Sam as possible. Well, unfortunately, that skews your debt ratio, skews your debt to income ratio. You don't necessarily look good on paper, even though in our world, you have to have a down payment. You obviously have to be able to afford that monthly mortgage payment while you're going through the lease portion of the buying agreement, which we'll talk about in a later video as well. But so we get the seller house under contract using a simple one-page instrument. Again, no licensing concerns whatsoever. We then are marketing that. We'll talk about marketing in a later video as well. Most of our marketing channels are free. Zillow, Craigslist. We're starting to sell a lot of houses off Facebook Marketplace right now. Now, there is a cost associated with some of the kind of channels that we will utilize, but very insignificant, particularly with Zillow and Craigslist. We're then marketing those houses to people that, again, can afford a mortgage. They have a down payment, which is a requirement. We're looking for 5 to 10% down. So depending on the price points here in Jacksonville, that would be, 5 to 10% would be a $15,000 to $30,000, $40,000 down payment. It's non-refundable. That's how we make the lion's share of our money. The buyer is getting full credit towards their down payment requirement and getting dollar for dollar credit off the sale price of the home. I don't want to get too technical on this video right now. I just want to really kind of break down the platform in general. But those buyers are going into our program. We've got a mortgage prep, mortgage readiness program that we mandate. So if they had a credit hiccup, if they had a life curveball, they had a divorce, something that, was prohibiting them from walking to the bank. Again, self-employed is a huge demographic for us. They make plenty of money. They just can't go to the bank today. We find out what issues they're having. We take them through underwriting. We're looking at 2 years tax returns. We're looking at 90 days bank statements. We're looking at pay stubs. Of course, we're pulling credit. We're looking at debt ratio, debt to income ratio. Anything that if you walked in off the street, a Wells Fargo or a B of A would be looking at, our team is looking at the same thing. We don't really care why. Now, we want to identify why they can't go to the bank because we need, without knowing the issue, we're not going to be able to know what that solution would look like. So, of course, we want to know that backstory. Ultimately, what we want to do is provide every buyer with a custom-built blueprint that they can successfully follow that is based solely around their ultimate ability to fix what is prohibiting them from going to the bank today, and then ultimately how they get to that permanent financing. And again, guys, we're talking 12 months or less in many cases. And then we're really doing a lot of that hand-holding throughout the process. But for them, they can't go to the bank. This is kind of that hybrid or that stepping stone to permanent financing where they're able to actually live in their dream home, move their family in during the lease portion of their buying agreement while we're helping them get to that mortgage readiness point. At the end of that, we have the hard closing. So there's two closings in our world. First would be the front end or the soft close, which is where they're taking occupancy. Their down payment is required. That's where you as Pink would get paid a large chunk of money up front. Our average deal is about $15,000. So of course that is what we deem a sizable profit, considering you're not having capital risk, you're not laying cash on the table in order to secure that asset. When they get their permanent financing, then that would be the hard close. They're getting funding, based on going through our program, of course. We can't mandate where they get that. So at that point, they can walk into a B of A or a Wells Fargo or go through one of our channels. By law, that's not something that we can dictate. But at that point, they're mortgage ready, mortgage qualified. They get their permanent financing. Seller gets cashed out. They get their equity out. Title gets transferred to the buyer. And as we like to say, you make a nice check. We as Pink make a nice check. We all shake hands and everyone lives happily ever after. That would be this particular video. We've got a lot more to come. Guys, if you like information like this, you like content like this, be sure to smash that like button below. If you're not a subscriber to our channel already, please subscribe. We're always looking for new faces, new eyeballs, like-minded people on here. And hit that bell notification below when you want alerts when new content is coming out there like this from the only channel out there that exists in non-traditional real estate, particularly with a business opportunity around this. Guys, we do not have a competitor. So keep coming back to the channel. We're going to keep delivering new content. We're going to keep delivering new testimonials. Until next time, make it a great day. Take care. Thank you.